What would you do if your own family left you at a homeless shelter with nothing but $5 and a cruel note? What if they laughed as they drove away, thinking you'd crawl back begging? Well, my name is Kennedy, and 5 years ago my parents did exactly that. They thought they were teaching me a lesson. Instead, they created their worst nightmare. This is the story of how I went from being called dead weight to owning the very shelter they abandoned me at. And trust me, my revenge was so perfectly calculated, it made national news. Let me take you back to where it all began. I was 24, fresh out of community college with honors. While waiting for job responses, I was helping around the house, paying rent to my own parents. But to them, I was just a burden they couldn't wait to get rid of. The family trip was supposed to be one last bonding experience. That's what Mom told everyone. But from day one, it was clear this was about something else entirely. Mom packed snacks for everyone except me. "You'll be fine," she sneered. "You're not exactly starving." My brother Lucas, always the golden child, laughed like a hyena. "She eats air for dinner anyway." Voice getting emotional. I sat by the window, headphones in, trying not to cry. My music wasn't even playing. I just didn't want them to hear how broken I'd become. Then my father's voice cut through the van like a blade. "She better not ruin this trip. I've paid for her existence long enough." Can you imagine? Your own father saying that about you. 3 days into the trip, we reached Mason Hollow, a forgotten town with one gas station, 2 diners, and no cell reception. The perfect place to disappear someone. We stopped at a rundown motel. I offered to check for rooms, trying to be helpful one last time. My dad handed me a crumpled $5 bill and said words that still echo in my mind. "Here, buy yourself some self-respect." When I walked out of that lobby, the van was gone. First, I thought it was a cruel joke. I waited 10 minutes, then 20, then over an hour. Finally, the motel receptionist handed me a torn napkin. In my mother's handwriting it said, "Let's see how she survives without us now. Crawl if you want to catch up." I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat on that curb, staring at the cracked pavement, wondering what I'd done to deserve this level of cruelty from the people who were supposed to love me most. That's when Clarence found me. A thin, middle-aged custodian from the local homeless shelter, who'd noticed me sitting alone as darkness fell. "You all right?" he asked with a voice like wind through a cornfield. When I finally told him what happened, his jaw tightened. "You come with me," he said simply. "We'll figure this out." The homeless shelter wasn't what I expected. No chaos, no screaming, just tired people trying to survive. Clarence gave me a bunk, a blanket, and the first warm meal I'd had in days. For the first time in years, someone was genuinely kind to me. That night, I cried myself to sleep on a plastic mattress. But my tears were quiet. I had learned to be quiet. The next morning changed everything. I asked Clarence if I could help around the shelter. I cleaned bathrooms, served meals, folded donated clothes. Every time I tried to thank him, he waved me off. A week passed. No one came looking for me. No police report, no check-ins, not even a single text. They had truly, completely abandoned me. But something incredible happened in that shelter. Found my purpose. One afternoon, a woman came in with 2 young kids clinging to her legs and bruises on her arms. She couldn't speak English well, but she looked me in the eyes and whispered, "Safe." I found myself standing taller than I had in years. I nodded firmly. "You're safe here." And in that moment, I realized something powerful. I wasn't useless. I had never been useless. Clarence taught me how the shelter operated, where funding came from, how to manage donations. He trusted me with real responsibilities. One evening, sipping terrible coffee on the porch, he told me something that changed my life. "You were never the problem, sweetheart. You were just in the wrong house." 2 months passed, then 3. Still no word from my family. But I wasn't waiting anymore. I applied for a social work certificate program, got in, and saved every stipend dollar. I took a side job cleaning offices after midnight. I never stopped helping others, and slowly I was building something beautiful. 3 years passed in silence from my family. 3 years of them pretending I never existed. But I wasn't idle. I went from scrubbing donated shoes to leading grant meetings. I helped restructure half the shelter's operations. People listened when I spoke now, especially the families we saved. A volunteer accountant named Greg noticed my skills and helped me get into fully funded business courses online. Turns out I was good at more than just surviving. Then came the breakthrough moment. A fundraiser gala honoring the shelter's growth. My name was on the event flyers. I wasn't just a worker anymore. I was the public face of transformation. The media picked up the story. The abandoned girl who rebuilt the shelter that saved thousands. And that's when my parents saw me again. Not in person but on TV, smiling, confident, successful. Standing at that podium, I thanked everyone who helped me. Then, with every camera pointed my way, I said, I used to believe I was a burden. My own family made sure I did. They left me 300 miles from home and said, let's see how she survives. Well, this is how I survived. The room went silent. Then applause shook the chandeliers. 2 weeks later, guess what arrived? Letter from Mom. No apology. No explanation. Just, Lucas is struggling. Your father had surgery. We could really use your help. Not, we're sorry. Not, we miss you. Just a thin veil over their real message. You have value now, so now you matter. I smiled as I folded that letter and put it in my box labeled proof. Then I made a call to the journalist who'd been asking for more background on my story. I gave them everything, the trip, the note, years of emotional abuse. When they asked if I wanted to remain anonymous, I said, no. I want my name on it. Within days, headlines were everywhere. Woman left at homeless shelter by family now runs the facility that saved her. The subheading. They said, let's see how she survives. She did more than that. My brother Lucas panicked, messaging me. What the hell did you do? Mom can't go outside without people staring. Dad's friends won't speak to him. Please take it down, you've made your point. But I replied, I'm just getting started. The ultimate revenge came at our old neighborhood's 20th anniversary celebration. What my parents didn't know. I had quietly become a private donor and helped organize the entire event. That meant I controlled the guest list. When they walked into that community hall, wearing their fake smiles and designer clothes, they froze. There I was at the podium, successful, respected, loved by an entire community. I welcomed everyone warmly, then said, there's one more thing I want to say. You may have heard my story, but tonight I'm not here as a victim. I'm here to offer something I never got, a second chance. The projector behind me displayed their cruel note, their mockery, their abandonment. I told the hushed crowd. They laughed when they left me at that shelter. So I bought it. And now they can't even get in. That was true. Through grants and board votes, I had purchased the shelter. On its front door now hangs my photo with a quote, not everyone gets a second chance, but everyone deserves a witness. My parents tried to approach me afterward, but I held up my hand. If you speak to me, I will make sure this entire city knows everything. I have proof, letters, records, eyewitnesses. This is your second chance. Use it to disappear. I handed them one final envelope, a check for $1 labeled for services rendered, teaching me what not to be. They left in silence. No laughter. No looking back. They had become exactly what they once accused me of being, worthless. And me. I walked outside where my shelter kids were waiting, cheering in handmade t-shirts that said, Survivor, Leader, Home. As one little girl hugged me tight, I whispered, we're not burdens. She smiled back, I know. We're the ones who build. Under that golden summer sky, I realized something profound. I didn't just survive what they did to me. I became the reason it ends. For every kid who was ever abandoned like I was, they'll have someone waiting now. Someone like me. The revenge wasn't just about destroying them. It was about building something so beautiful from their cruelty that it could never happen again. What do you think about Kennedy's revenge? Was it justified? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible real-life stories that will leave you speechless.